All right, so today we are going to be talking about games, technology games technology games, and the resources that there are for teachers to find games. There are so many online, and there's so many different ways to find them. What we did today was we tried to find some through the use of Twitter, searching through different hashtags, educational games, and then from there we read up on some of them. And today we're going to talk about some of the ones that we liked and thought were valuable and usable and viable within the classroom. And yeah, so let's start it off then, Andrew.
All right, so one website that I found to have a lot of different games for students. So there's a lot of different options for different subject areas. So the website that I found was called funbrain.com. And now in this, the website had various games for, so it had grammar gorillas. So students were able to work on their grammar. So it works on like their adjectives, verbs, nouns, periods, you name it. And there's also different options for like the difficulty. So there's a beginner where it just works on the basics. So like nouns, verbs, adjectives, and then more advanced is obviously working with punctuation and noticing where it should be properly. Another game from that website.
Now, I have a question for that. Now, you say the grammar gorillas and that it's focusing on these things, but the game itself, how does it work? What happens within the game that it makes it not just educational but also fun for the students?
Okay, well, while you're playing the game, there's a sentence that pops up, and in the sentence there are a few words that are highlighted.
Okay.
And so what you're supposed to do is, it says, find the noun that is in the sentence. So, using different bolded things in the sentence, the students are to point out which is the noun.
Okay.
And if they get it right, they get bananas.
They get bananas.
They get bananas.
And because they're gorillas,
yeah,
they like bananas.
Exactly.
So if you want to be fed, you gotta get your grammar right.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now what's another game that you found to be
Another game I found to be great was Math Baseball. Now this is sweet because you can either choose it once again. You can have basic math or more complex. So basic math is multiplication, division, addition, subtraction.
Okay.
Okay. More advanced is all of those, but with algebra and different complexity of algebra.
So what you're saying is that these games are designed for multiple grade levels and multiple aspects of the curriculum, depending on what your age group is, what they're capable of individually, and where they are at developmentally.
Right.
And then you can incorporate different levels of the same game within the same classroom where there are varying developmental levels?
Yeah. This game, It actually said that it's suggested for kindergarten to grade 8.
Okay, wow. So that's a huge age range there. So
huge, yeah.
There's a lot of uses that could be present for that game.
Yeah, and while you're playing this game, so say for the basic, where you have the basic mathematical of addition, etc., if you get a question right, it's either based on the difficulty of the question. So say you have, I remember an example, it was like 15 divided by 3. And so the answer is 5. And for that, if they get the correct answer, they get a home run.
Wow.
So the purpose is to see how many runs you can get. And you can just keep adding up and up until you get outs. And outs are when you get a question wrong. And like in baseball, you only get 3 outs.
Okay, so you're given multiple opportunities to learn from anything that you might get incorrect.
Yeah.
And it's made in a way so that it's relatable to something else. Whereas, so the sport of baseball, anybody that's familiar with the sport would understand the 3 outs concept and how many opportunities and chances they would have, and then 3 strikes, that kind of thing. Okay, cool, nice. Sounds like a useful tool.
Yeah, and there's another website. I didn't really look at too much in depth, but it said that the grade appropriate for this one was actually preschool to elementary, so it's more for younger students.
Okay.
But some educational games that were on this website are once again, there's some math ones, as well as rhyming, so they're practicing their rhyming, so language arts, as well as a painting animals game, which I think is great, because each student is going to want to paint an animal, not based off what the actual color is, but just what they feel that color should be.
And the technology and the game itself allow and present the students with tools so that they can be creative
Yeah.
and do it in a way that isn't limited by what they might be capable of at this point, but actually enables them to be creative and express themselves.
Yeah.
The websites we've looked at so far and the different games and tools we've looked at so far, there seems to be a heavy focus upon numeracy and literacy.
Yeah.
Now and that's probably because it's such a large portion of the curriculum.
Yeah.
Now, are there games that focus beyond numeracy and literacy?
Yeah, I believe so. There's actually one called Music Band on this the preschool to elementary website. Yeah. And in that, the students are actually able to play their own instrument. So they're kind of getting more in depth of their instrumental knowledge and kind of how each instrument might sound, how to play it, what it looks like, as well as now this one is kind of more related to language arts. It's called Typing Challenge.
Yep.
But that being said, typing is very important because you want to be able to develop so that you have the proper technique, as well as you're able to successfully type quickly, so you can get stuff done quicker,
Yeah, and there's such a heavy focus on using technology and computers that computer and technological literacy, especially just being able to use a keyboard, are very big components.
Yeah.
And then also another tool would be an iPad, which is more hands-on based for students, so that they can just use their fingers. They're not as required to know different practices of typing on a keyboard, and it's very much touch-based learning.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So yeah, those are some of the websites we looked at.
Yeah, those are some pretty good games out there. And yeah, thank you for watching. That was what we have to talk about for technology and use of games within the classroom. And there are, as you can see, there are plenty of resources out there for teachers, and it's very easy to find. And then based on what you find, you can evaluate it yourselves based on your classrooms and the different students you have and the different learning outcomes you're hoping to find. It's quite a vast resource, so just being able to discern what you need and what you don't need, and then being able to use the technology in the best way possible, whatever suits your classroom. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.